I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Shocking news. She left her husband for R. Kelly and then turned around and lied to everybody. Before we get started with this demonstration, let's read my copyright disclaimer. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to my moderators. Salute to the chat. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Who are we talking about? None other than Sparkle. Now, you've heard my demonstrations, right? And in my demonstrations, we've all heard Sparkle talk about R. Kelly, right? She always never knew what was going on, right? Everything that, as far as negativity that was going on, Sparkle never seen it. She didn't even want to know about it. She didn't even ask about it. Now, how actually did Sparkle and R. Kelly get together, right? And we're going to be going over that. Did she lie? Here's my thing. Did Sparkle lie about her and R. Kelly's relationship? Did she lie about how they got together? I see y'all down there in the chat. Let's just jump straight into this demonstration. Drop a one if you think she lied. There we go right there. Drop a 2 if you think she's telling the truth. There we go right there. I'm so glad that you are breaking down what she says, how she says it, and putting the pieces together. Appreciate you, Audra. Let's tap into Sparkle.
I don't know if this is my call. This is my charge from God. Like, I don't know what this is, but I got to react because I was the only one, the first one to make it known what it was. And, you know, people saying, why now? And why now? I'm not that chick. I'm not that why now chick. Talk to some of these other ones.
And what you saying that and you, because you were one of the first. I don't even remember back in the day when everything jumped off. It was like, you know, this chick named Sparkle, like whatever. I'm not having that. Let me ask you a question though, and all due respect to his creative genius. Let's be honest. He's made songs that
made great songs
that children that got here off of.
Yes.
He's kind of considered the Marvin Gaye of our generation. Do you, with all this that has been going on and what's going on now, do you separate the artist from the person, or to you is it all one thing?
It's
and how would you ask people to deal with? How could you tell people how you deal with that, as far as how some
people I can't tell people how to deal with it, because of course they're gonna do what they want to do. But for me, I don't separate Robert from his music at all. I can't. You know, it's a personal thing for me at this point, you know, dealing with my family. And, you know, Robert and I had a great relationship. That was my homeboy. He was like family to me. And for him to do this.
Now, what actually did R. Kelly do to Sparkle? Can anybody, before I go any further, and on the replay gang, y'all can answer it, but anybody that's in the chat, what actually did R. Kelly do to Sparkle? Last demonstration, remember, some of y'all said she wasn't even a victim. And I've never heard Sparkle, maybe I missed it, but I've never heard one thing in particular that R. Kelly done to Sparkle that was so wrong. What about it, you all? I mean, the alleged victims went on for so long without speaking on it. How was it like family and your homeboy, yet y'all have been turbulent since at least 1991 when you started dating the dude from Public Announcement? Sparkle was a scorned woman who knew that Rob had many women. She thought that she was going to be the #1 chick. I mean, she wanted the relationship to be more, but he didn't want her. And I agree with all of you guys' comments. That's all I've ever got out of what R. Kelly done to Sparkle. Now, on the previous demonstration, she called CPS. Why did she call CPS? Now, she said when she got to the studio, she said she had got some phone calls and people was telling her about her niece and R. Kelly, correct? Now she goes to the studio. R. Kelly and her niece is at the studio. Her niece is with R. Kelly at the studio alone. She calls her sister. She never got into what actually her sister said. Then she said 5 minutes later, her brother-in-law comes in. He comes in smiling. So she said after that, she did what? After that, she called CPS on him, right? We have to make a timeline for Sparkle because she fabricated that tape, making her niece be with some older dude. Shaking my head. Now that has came out about the tape. That's not even official. That's not authentic. That's not even R. Kelly in the tape. This is an open panel demonstration. I'll drop the link later on. All right. So if anybody would like to join me on the panel, just hang around and I will allow y'all to join me on the panel. All right. Did we hear that she was the one who told her niece to sit on Cal's lap to asking Cal's to be her Z goddaughter? Come on, Teresa. Come on, wake us up now. All of this comes out. R. Kelly was married and Sparkle knew it. She thought he was going to leave his wife for her. Facts. She was married to Earl. Correct? R. Kelly's married, I believe, to Drea. Sparkle was married to my man Earl from Public Announcement. She leaves Earl, right? Like Next Level said, she thought that she left her husband for Robert. She thought Robert was going to leave his wife for her. Appreciate the gifted. Appreciate the membership, Miss Parker. Appreciate the membership.
Yo, it's crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know how to speak to the people about how they process and how they feel and how they should feel, because I'm trying to put nothing in nobody's head or mouth, or not their head, but out of their mouth. But I just hope that y'all can see what it really is. Like, he's hurt a lot of people.
We see what it really is. Appreciate the super sticker, Miss Parker. She want us to see what it really is. We see what it really is from your point. Now, let me just say this, because I do believe that there were some victims. She wasn't a victim. She wasn't one of those victims. So I don't want any real victims of R. Kelly. I don't want you all to feel like I'm bashing you all and I'm taking up for R. Kelly. That's not the case. That's not what this demonstration is about. This demonstration is about exposing Sparkle for being a funky ass. All right. So if there's any victims of R. Kelly that's watching, it's not about you all. This is strictly about Sparkle. She lied. She lied. And she helped bring down a successful man. That's what she done. Sparkle used to be in the house with R. Kelly and his wife, upset that he really wasn't going to leave her after she left her husband. Facts. I truly do believe that if Drea had her house in order, none of these false accusations would have never taken place. And Sparkle even said that when Dre came in and wanted to, I believe, get something to eat, and R. Kelly told her, come on in, and she made a sandwich or whatever. I do believe Sparkle said, if it was the other way around, it wouldn't have never been me. I wouldn't have never came in and my husband was in the room with his side chick, or my husband was in the room with another woman. It wouldn't have never been me. I wouldn't have never carried it that way. You knew exactly what you was doing. You knew what you was doing, Sparkle. You knew what you was doing. I see you, OG Patrice. Salute, OG Patrice. We understand that there are real victims, but they're not in R. Kelly's case. And that's why I had to make that announcement. This is only about Sparkle. This is not about any of the real victims of R. Kelly. All right. So I don't want nobody to think that I'm bashing the victims. He said he would never go into a room. He let them leave. He said that. That's how mad she was, knowing she was his side chick. Facts.
Families are destroyed by this. You know what I mean?
Do your sister and them take any responsibility? Because like you said, you blew the whistle.
Yo, every
and now
adult.
they're mad at you. Do they?
Yeah.
I'm just
Every
talking about
adult.
for your niece specifically.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Every adult
Yeah.
should take responsibility. If you were in the room and you saw her
Right.
and you saw something that wasn't right, you should be responsible as well.
Well, do they?
Yeah.
Because
They
everybody
don't.
seems to be mad at you from what you're telling us. But do they take any
They
responsibility?
don't. I mean, I see some things they're saying, where the parents. The parents could be right there. Aaliyah is a prime example, and I hate to keep bringing this up. Her parents were there. Her uncle Barry Hankerson, who was large in the industry, was there.
And even if her uncle was there, even if her parents were there, her words, why didn't she call CPS when she knew the situation with Aaliyah? Yes or no? She managed to call CPS when she believed R. Kelly was fooling around with her niece, and her niece was underage. She came on board to sing backup vocals for Aaliyah. She knew that R. Kelly was inappropriate touching Aaliyah. How come she ain't called CPS then? I'm just asking. I really don't know too much. I'm only asking. Okay? How, for all the Sparkle supporters out there, how come Sparkle didn't report it to CPS when she came on board to sing them background vocals on Aaliyah's album? She knew. I'm just asking.
They didn't see nothing, but it only takes 30 seconds to have a sexual encounter. You know what I'm saying? They could go out and grab something to eat. He could be on her. You know what I mean? So,
but Aaliyah, did they take her away once they learned that they got married?
I know nothing about that because I wasn't around then.
Got you.
You know what I mean? I was in there to do a job from 92 to 96. I wasn't really around. I saw Robert here and there or whatever, but I wasn't around then. So, people are thinking something that I was there the whole time. No, I wasn't.
I want you to clear this rumor up because obviously, like I said earlier, this is Chicago. So I feel like this docu-series hit this city, different than any other place.
Yes.
And, like I said, a lot of emotions were riveted in the city on both ends. People that were discussing, people that were like, I don't care what anybody says. I love R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Here's a rumor I heard, though. Did you and R. Kelly ever date?
Not at all.
Okay.
Never dated. I dated someone that was around, but I never dated Robert.
Okay.
Now, what are y'all thoughts on that? I see you, J-Rock. She never dated R. Kelly. I'm just asking, is this another lie? Or is she telling the truth? I'll let you Sparkle supporters answer that. Is she lying again? Or is she telling the truth? I see you, Kimberly, Tamily. I see everybody down there in the chat. Give me a minute. I will come down there to the chat. and give me a minute to drop the link. I will allow any of you all to come up on the panel with me and voice your opinions. Just give me a minute.
At all.
Thank you for clearing that up. Well, we talked about the backlash, but there's a lot of positive things that have happened from the docu-series, and I felt like you said you've been talking since 2001, and people weren't listening. I feel like at that time, but now it seems
now they listening.
People
Thank
are listening.
y'all.
Yeah,
you have my back. Come on, y'all. You riding with me? Girl, I know you riding.
Girl, look,
I've been seeing you out knocking on doors.
I'm gonna need a bodyguard.
Don't be going knocking on no door, girl.
Okay,
you know how things are.
Let me explain that though, because I think people understand that. So the reason why I went to the door is because so 3 years ago we had R. Kelly on our show, laughed with him, sang with him, took shots with him. I was young when the Leah thing happened, never watched the tape, so I had this comfort zone of I don't know what everybody talking about. You know what I'm saying? Right. But last year I was invited to that particular studio several different times for listening sessions. So when I was watching the docu-series, I had a lot of emotions, but what I really had is like, this is here. This is 10 minutes from me. Like this is like, so I got into a reaction mode. But I understand. I know, girl. I need a bodyguard.
No door.
Right.
Leon, you ain't tell her don't be knocking on no door.
No, listen, at the end of the day, this is what I've always said, and I'll continue to say, because I have conflicted feelings. I was in several R. Kelly videos. I was in a video with him and Carrie Hilson. I was in a video with him and Mr. Biggs. It's tough for me being in Chicago because, like I said, the man is brilliant. Yes. But he also has issues. And I just feel as African-American males, as black men, it's your job first to protect, and even as a father, like I do a running joke on my comedy show. I'm part of a daddy's union. I catch your daughter out here crazy. She got 10 seconds to get up out of here. Or I'm calling pops. Good. And I just feel like I do feel crazy because I'm not going to sit up here in front. Like I ain't never listened to R. Kelly. I ain't rock with him. But it's just some things you got to draw the line. And I didn't need the docu-series to show me that. I had kind of been off him a long time ago. But when, I saw how people were trying to drag you through the mud on the thing, I was like, well, how they trying to drag us through the mud for being responsible adult?
Wow.
Like, I never could get that.
Before we go, one thing in docu-series, I want you to clip this up. You talked about the first time you saw her in the studio alone. People are saying, well, why didn't you grab her then?
Let me tell you
because this is part of the docu-series. If you haven't seen it, when Sparkle says you went to the studio and you saw your niece was at the studio and Rob was there and there was no adult and you were like, what's going on? Right. In a way, people are saying, well, that was your moment to grab her.
And that's a good question from Kendra G. Shout out to Kendra G. That's a good question that Kendra G asked her. Let's hear her response.
Look, I'm still recording, right? And I walk in the studio, I see her, and I'm like, well, who you here with? Oh, I got dropped off. Wait, what? Ring my sister. I go in on her, and I say, look, what you on? Somebody needs to get down here before I leave. I see her. I'm watching her at all times. My brother-in-law shows up. So I didn't leave her in the studio by herself.
They didn't put that part in the documentary.
And let me tell one thing more, too, about the doc that I want to clear up because they didn't show.
Why didn't they put that in the documentary? Can anybody answer that? Why didn't they put that in the documentary, Sparkle? And why didn't you make a big deal about it? To me, that's a very important piece of the story that should have been in that documentary. To me.
Its entirety. Look, I sat for 4.5, 5 hours talking. So this series was 6 hours long. Of course, they can't put all of me in there because it ain't about me. You know what I mean? So they, some things were picked apart and left out or what have you. But the Andrea situation, when the whole knocking thing and I heard the knock and yes, and she.
So people don't know what happens is was it like when you first met R. Kelly?
No.
Okay, well you were at the house one day and then y'all were watching television.
Yeah, we were watching.
And there was someone knocking on the door and he acted like
he didn't hear it.
He didn't hear it.
Yeah. So let me share that with you.
Okay, give them because they didn't see that part.
Yeah. So I hear a knocking and we're watching the playoffs game, and I'm looking around like, okay, nobody ain't looking or saying nothing. Kept knocking. I'm like, yo, Robert. I said, somebody knocking. You don't hear that? So I'm thinking it's the door. And he was like, just kept looking at the TV. I'm like, it kept knocking. I'm just like, look. And you hear somebody knocking. So he goes, yeah. And then she peeps out and says something. He was like, come on.
can I get something to eat? I think you said, can I come down or something?
She said
Andrea's asked for
yeah,
permission.
she's asking for
to get
permission
something
to
to
come
eat.
down to eat.
Right.
So she comes down, grabs her food, and goes back up. And I'm staring him like this.
And let me just say this, because I got to get my input on this. You knew R. Kelly was married, and you was in R. Kelly's house watching the game, correctly, knowing that he's married. Ladies, isn't that disrespectful? What woman, remember what I said, you got all kinds of women. You got God-fearing women. You got independent women. You got righteous women. You got women that go to church and other religious mosque, things of that nature. You got women that are single mothers that's raising their children. You got respectful women on one side, right? Then on the other side, you got the hoes. You got the funky hoes. You got the females that's ratchet. You got the females that don't care. You get what you got. They call it today 304s. We called them skeezers back in our days. See, that's what a skeezer, for everybody from back in the day, that's what a skeezer going to do. A skeezer knows you got a wife. I can understand if it was a girlfriend, but this is this man's wife, Sparkle. And you knew. Not only did you know he was married, you sat there, laughed, gave you a little smirk. You famous for the smirks. And you sat there while that man disrespected his wife. You didn't have a problem with that. See, if you pay close attention to Sparkle and her story, as long as things are benefiting her, as long as she's center of attention, she ain't got no problem with it. It's not until she can't get her way. It's not until she's not the main focus. That's when she has a problem. That's when she has a problem.
And I say, you know what? You a piece of work. How dare you? And he's turned this way. I said, that S ain't funny. I said some other stuff, but I can't say it on here. But yeah, I was like, dude, what you on?
Was that
like,
before or after your niece that you introduced her?
This was after my niece.
Okay, after your niece. Okay.
Now this is after the niece situation. This after the niece situation. So we got the niece situation. We also got the situation when at the meeting she said, R. Kelly said to her mother and her father, your daughter, talking about Sparkle, is so beautiful that just thinking about her makes me jack off. All these situations, Sparkle is still hanging around. Why? What was she hanging around for? Where are my Sparkle supporters? Why was she hanging around after these incidents that took place? All the other incidents, she tried to act like she ain't know nothing about. But these are incidents that she knew about. Why she hang around? Appreciate that membership, Yvette C. Hey, brother Shank, much love and respect. Appreciate you, Yvette C. Hope you feeling well, Yvette C.
So after your niece, you were still, after everything happened, you guys were still.
Well,
friends.
I was still recording. No, not the tape.
Oh,
No.
Gotcha.
Not the tape. I'm thinking you're saying after
she
the
was seeing them
introduction.
being around,
Yeah, and the family has been introduced to him. Yeah.
Are you and Andrea friends? Have you guys had a conversation?
We're friendly. But we've not had conversations or anything like that. No.
Why not? I mean, why wouldn't y'all have conversations? Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because Drea, R. Kelly's wife, she knew what type of female you was. And for all of the women that's on the right side of the track, for all of the good women out there, y'all know, if y'all are good women, y'all not going to participate with anything that women on the left side of the track got going on. Y'all going to call these women out over here. And that's why y'all wasn't friends. You was her husband's side chick, Sparkle. Respectful side chicks. Shout out to all of the respectful side chicks. Because the respectful side chicks, no, hell no, you ain't taking me to your house. And your wife there? Hell to the no. See, Sparkle not only give a bad name, Sparkle not only make good women look messed up, Sparkle makes good side chicks look messed up. I'm just being honest with y'all. Because that's breaking one of the codes of being a side chick. I can put myself in that perspective. Let's say I'm a side dude. Let's say it's a woman that I'm dealing with and she got a husband. You ain't taking me up in you ain't about to get my goddamn head blown off. Ain't no way in the world I'm going up in your house and your husband there. What woman? Be honest with me, y'all. Side chicks, hoes, everybody on the left side. All the women that's on the left side. What y'all done, what Sparkle had done, I know some of y'all funky assholes gonna say, hell yeah. But the majority of y'all that's on the left side of the track wouldn't have done that. Because y'all know that that's disrespectful. Respectful cheating. That's what they call it. Appreciate you, Niecy. Come on, Sparkle. A side chick isn't respectful, period. Come on, Sparkle. I wish I would. No, baby. You went up in that man's house while that man's wife was there. You thought it was cute. And I don't even like to use that word, cute. You thought it was funny. You enjoyed it. And that's what this is about. That's what this is about. R. Kelly, according to you, R. Kelly never done nothing to you.
What did you learn from watching the docu-series? Because I know like you watched it just like us.
Yes, I learned a lot. I learned the young girls' stories. I don't know any of them. I know my niece and I know one other girl, Javante, who was actually a part of the group Second Chapter. I don't know if you hear in Aaliyah's first album, they speak of this group called Second Chapter. She was a part of that group, and that's how I met her initially. But yeah, this has been a whirlwind.
Right.
I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
Didn't want it.
Okay, so a couple things. Of course, the docuseries was powerful, but it was allegations. You know, everything has to be out to make sure that that's clear. These women, what they claim to be factual experiences, but right now they're allegations. And at the last part of the series, there were two parents of Jocelyn Savage and also Azriel Clary who made it known that their children, their daughters are still with R. Kelly. Last week, the police right here in Chicago went to the Trump Towers, spoke with both girls in person, and they both said they're there by choice, that they want to be with him. So that took people saying, see, these girls are grown, they're doing what they want to do.
And that's all it is, y'all. That's all it is. Every one of them females. Because R. Kelly is not locked up for inappropriate touching with minors. That's not what R. Kelly is locked up for. All those women were of age, and all those women knew what it was. And listen to me. There are athletes, there are entertainers, there are corporate exec CEOs, there are 9-to-5, there are players, there are pimps, there are YouTubers, there are all kind of men in this world that have a stable of women. Those women that are in these stables, those women know what it is. As a woman, if you're not in a stable with other women, if you're not on a team with other women, then it don't apply to you. But see, there are millions of women out here that belong to stables. There are millions of women out here that are on a team. They know what it is. They understand it. This has been going on for centuries. But you always get that one dissatisfied woman. You always get that one woman that's going to get out of pocket. I got to give it to y'all raw. I can't sugarcoat this demonstration. I got to give it to y'all raw with no chaser. Those women, they knew what it was. They didn't have a problem with it. She's the only one that had a problem with it. I understood if those women that we could say was victims, I could understand if they had a problem with it. But your funky ass, according to you, he ain't do nothing to you. He knew not to play with you like that. All these different theatrics that you come up with. I'll say it again. You was upset because R. Kelly did not make you his main woman. R. Kelly did not have you as his number one priority. You left your husband, Earl, from public announcement, and this is facts for all of the Sparkle supporters. It's a fact. She left her husband, Earl, from public announcement to be with R. Kelly. Earl, her husband, let me tell y'all how cold the game is. Earl knew that R. Kelly and Aaliyah was together, relations, right? It's facts. Earl still sent his wife, Sparkle, to R. Kelly. My man from public announcement, I think was it, what's my man from public? I can't remember my man, which one of them, but he said to Earl, that ain't a good idea. Then when he sent her to R. Kelly told him, the public announcement, I'm going to have to produce this by myself. I'm going to have to do all of this on my own. She going to have to sleep on the couch for 30 days. They already, Sparkle, why did you go along with it? You left your husband. You don't want to talk about that, do you? She don't want to talk about her leaving her husband to be with R. Kelly. That's what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. So your husband sends you to R. Kelly. You know, well, damn. If I roll with my husband, he in the group, he got this group. Yeah, he doing his thing. Yeah, but he ain't nowhere. He don't got the name. He don't got the clout. He don't got the money. He don't got the connections. He can't touch R. Kelly. He can't do for me what R. Kelly can do for me. So now I got to choose. And women on this side of the track, they are faced with these scenarios all the time. Even women on the right side of the track is faced with these scenarios. God-fearing women, virtuous women, independent women that's married. Y'all get guys all the time trying to knock y'all, trying to take y'all from your husband. So this ain't nothing new. This applies to all women. So you on the left side of the track of things, you got to choose. Who should I choose? Should I stay with my husband or should I choose? Because according to Sparkle, for all of the Sparkle supporters, Sparkle said, Robert didn't like me being with nobody. Robert didn't like me having a boyfriend. So here comes decision making for you. You chose R. Kelly, right? So now you figure since I left my husband for you, you figure you ought to leave your wife for me. That didn't work. That didn't work. So now you mad, you upset. You start throwing temper tantrums. right? Now you finding out, according to you, you finding out R. Kelly was trying to protect you. R. Kelly didn't want you speaking to this person, that person. R. Kelly didn't want them speaking to you. You didn't even find out why. See, women on this side of the tracks would have at least found out. Or women on this side of the tracks would have knew what it was, would have knew he's trying to protect me, because the last time I checked, that's what men do. The last time I checked, that's what women expect from a man. Y'all talk all that independent, funky ass shit all y'all want to. But when it comes to certain situations, no matter how independent your funky ass is, no matter what your funky ass got going on, your funky ass is going to be expecting a man, your man, to take care of your ass. Yes or no? So now R. Kelly steps in and be the man that he's supposed to be and protect your funky ass. Because I'm sure that if R. Kelly would have allowed you to fraternize with them other people around, this situation would have got messier than what it already got. And in my opinion, he knew you was no good. In my opinion, he knew you was a piece of shit. And I'm going to tell y'all why. R. Kelly knew she was a piece of shit. Because what woman leaves her husband to be with a man? All women, and you women in the chat and on the replay gang, y'all can bear witness. Ain't no man going to leave his wife for no woman, especially a woman that left her husband to be with him, because he knows if she leaves her husband to be with me, the next dude that come along that can do more for her, she'll leave my funky ass to be with him. You played yourself, Sparkle. And I hope that women are taking notes from this demonstration. I hope that men are taking notes from this demonstration. But that's all it was. So you expected R. Kelly, let me backtrack. You expected Robert to leave his wife for you. See, and even when you was rubbing it in Drea's face, because that's what you was doing by being there, you thought you had one up on Drea, but you didn't. Because see, one thing about a wife, and that's why women make sure that that man marries her, because it's a lot of benefits that come with being a wife. Women aren't as dumb as some people think they are. But all women know, even if my husband cheats on me, I'm his wife. The women that he cheat on me with is only temporarily. I'm his wife. You got him temporarily. I got him full time.
Don't need to be saved. I was trying to save them, but
No,
they don't need to be
Lord.
saved. So, people are saying, leave him alone. Like, these women are grown. Do you have a response to that?
Brainwashed, manipulated. He has their minds. He has their minds. So they're like puppets now. So whatever he has them to say to the police, that's what they're going to say. Period.
Okay.
There's no change in it.
What do you think about people got paid to do the Lifetime docu-series? Everyone got a check, and they're doing this now because people were receiving money from R. Kelly, then they stopped receiving checks. So that's why now they're trying to bash him, because they're not getting money from him anymore.
Are you serious? I mean, I don't know what to say about those women or what checks they've received from Robert, because I don't know that part of them. But I didn't get no check. They offered me upwards of 6 figures to say that Robert and I were, kumbaya and we were cool again or whatever. I didn't take the money. Like I stated on the piece, I can't be bought. No.
Gotcha.
Let me ask you this: being that you were initially, one of the first whistleblowers in this whole situation and everything that's come out over the years, including the docu-series, what do you think is appropriate for R. Kelly at this point in time? Does he need to go to jail? Should we just stop buying his music? Like, what do you feel like would be appropriate for him to have to deal with at this point in time?
He needs to own all of it, first of all. He needs to apologize to all them girls and their parents, because like I stated, he's messed up so many families. And he needs to get help. Then he can go to jail.
Do you think there's any responsibility on any of the women? Because
y'all know I got to comment on this. She said that he needs to take accountability. He needs to get help. And then he needs to go to jail. You can't make this ish up. If the man is guilty of what they say he's guilty of, he can get help in jail. He can take accountability in jail. He can apologize in jail. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. When they asked her what should happen to R. Kelly, the first thing that should have came out of her mouth was, R. Kelly needs to be locked up. For all those things that R. Kelly done to them women and them families, he needs to be locked up and the key needs to be thrown away. Come on, Sparkle. Come on, Sparkle supporters. Y'all can't read between the lines. Where are my Sparkle supporters at? Come on, it's okay. It's okay to be a Sparkle supporter. It's okay. But you can't read between the lines. Look at her facial expression. I always resort back to her facial expression. If y'all notice, in her interviews, she's never shed a tear. Drea was a freak and still is. She teaches it. These 304s couldn't hang with Drea. Drea ran the whole show. Question is, what did Drea do to make him divorce her? Joy stated that she wasn't no victim nor held hostage. He never had you. He's guilty of taking care of these hood boogers. I never liked her mouth. Sparkle, you got a whole platinum album because of him, and now since it didn't go your way, now you're pissed. Facts. So why are you even here? Facts. R. Kelly flew down on a helicopter to propose marriage to Drea. He was intentional with Drea. He took Drea and his kids on tour. Drea was his rib. Facts. Drea was a freak. See, you could just, as I stated before, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. It don't. Now, I'm sure when the victims of R. Kelly, I'm sure when they give interviews, I'm sure we see tears. Even if some of them are performing, even if they're fake tears, they know to show tears. But for those that were victims, you do see tears. But that was her husband. If she didn't want any money, why is she doing interviews? It's all about clout. It's all about clout because the clout brings her money. Shantae dropped the laughy emojis. Salute Cookie. It's sad. You know what I mean? It's sad that R. Kelly was destroyed. But Shank, but what? He was sleeping with all them women. And what did he say? because he did take accountability. He took accountability for his relationships. He felt like he did his women wrong. That's the only charge you got on R. Kelly. You don't got the pedophile charge. You don't got the sleeping with minors. That's not what he's locked up for. Clout and money. She's broke. Definitely did. What, with that being said, Sparkle, what could a 12, 14, 15, etc. do for R. Kelly when he had a freak as a wife? If there were any women in his matrimonial home, Drea called the shots. Exactly. Salute, Latrice. CC says, it's not a crime. It's not a crime. It's really not. Now, you can look at it on a moral level of things, or, okay, well, he was married, he was cheating on his wife. He's guilty of that, and he said it. He's guilty of cheating on his wife, but that calls for his wife to ask for a divorce. See, a divorcing somebody is not criminal. So he's guilty of cheating on his wife. Why the other women? Come on, Sparkle. She was over there. Family, please make sure y'all share this live out. She thought she was going to have him help her with her songs, and he got on her song and stole the shine off her, what she felt was a music career. Exactly, Blessed. But her bag was up. Salute, Renee. I see you, Renee. Teresa says, Kel's divorced his Drea. Jessica says his wife knew. His wife knew because his wife knew what it was. Listen, we talking about R. Kelly, ladies, and I'm sure some of you ladies is going to agree with it. We talking about R. Kelly. That's just, and I'm gonna keep it 100. That would be like a Beyonce. Let's say I married Beyonce. I'm keeping it 100 with y'all, and Beyonce got these multiple men. Hey, it is what it is. So you mean to tell me, Shank, you will go out like a sucker? You're damn right. We talking about Beyonce. Now we talking about R. Kelly for the ladies. They all knew what it was. Drea, his wife, she knew what it was. The other women, they knew what it was. This is R. Kelly. In my opinion, the baddest solo artist in R&B, hands down. And look, Prince, Michael Jackson, Smokey Robinson, Rick James, Marvin Gaye, they were some bad, you know what? R. Kelly, he bad. Shorty bad. I'm keeping it 100. Do y'all realize how many songs that he wrote for others that became hit? His 12-play album, the only album, in my opinion, that you could possibly put up against R. Kelly's 12-play is Jodeci and them album. Now, Jodeci and them, they could hang with R. Kelly, but once again, Jodeci is a group. Now let's dismember Jodeci. No disrespect to Jodeci. Can KC by himself top R. Kelly? Hell to the nah. Can JoJo? Can any of them in Jodeci rumble with R. Kelly? Hell to the nah. Sparkle took a wrong turn when she said she wanted other producers to work on her next album. R. Kelly was thinking, why do that when the last I produced for you went platinum? Facts, J-Rock, and producers that he just didn't rock with. Producers that didn't rock with him. We talking R. Kelly. I mean, you do you realize the chance? And since R. Kelly, your career, R. Kelly. All right, what you want me to do? Okay, you want me mop the floor? I got you. Okay, you want me sweep? You want me wipe some windows? Okay, you got me. Shank Rock, you will go out like that? You're damn right. R. Kelly? Come on. Now it's a different story if he was disrespecting me. But he wasn't disrespecting Sparkle. Because according to Sparkle, they wasn't even having relations. So if you and him ain't having relations, he ain't disrespect you. OG Patrice, a legend in the industry, says, I can't speak on Sparkle. I can't speak on Sparkle's time with Kels. I had my own Kels story. Sparkle was gone during my era with Kels. I did hear things through the grapevine about her. Phil Davis of PA is my friend. Shout out to OG Patrice, a legend in the industry.
People felt like the women that were older, that were like 33 years old, 35 years old, there wasn't as much sympathy for those women because they felt like you're a grown woman.
They should know.
You should know better. Like when you should have saw the signs more. So there was a lot of that conversation too, that the older women didn't get that much sympathy. Do you understand that?
I get that. And you know what? Look, Robert is a master manipulator.
See?
So if he's manipulating.
See what I'm saying? I mean, come on, Sparkle. Come on. Even Kendra G seen through the bullshit. These are older women. All Sparkle could say, well, okay, Robert is a master manipulator. Get the F out of here. He was able to manipulate all them women but you. Why was you so special? Why was Sparkle the special one out of all these other women? See, Kendra G. But people say that they were of age and they were older and mature. Well, take a Sparkle. Well, when you are like Robert, a master manipulator, I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it. I know dudes like that. Dudes like that don't move like R. Kelly. I'm just being honest with you. The dudes that I know and the dudes that we've seen, they put hands on them women, yes or no. Along with what you're accusing R. Kelly of, why R. Kelly ain't go upside your head? Why do he gotta be a manipulator? Because all the women knew what it was, and all the women played their position except you. You just didn't play your position. You made a bad move, and it cost you. It cost you. Your first bad move was when you left your husband. You don't speak on that. Have y'all heard her speak on her leaving her husband for R. Kelly? You don't never hear her speak on that. They ask, when did she get introduced to R. Kelly? She don't even acknowledge her husband, my man Earl from Public Announcement. She never acknowledges that her husband is the one that sent her to R. Kelly. She says her girlfriend. Lie after lie after lie. And this is the problem that people have with Sparkle. Her family even saw it for what it was. What gets me, people think all women are stupid and naive. Exactly. Facts, exactly. That part. She's definitely bitter, and she rounded up Drea after the divorce to start that movement to pin him in hell. Why now? Why not when you was getting paid? Exactly. Cookie, only the foolish ones. Shank Rock, that's what I heard that she did, leave Earl for Kels. And one thing I know about OG Patrice gonna keep it real. But It's everybody knows that, Sparkle. It was a fact. You left Earl. He the one that sent you to R. Kelly to get the album produced. Make sure the album is tight because he had already put the album together for you. But R. Kelly said, I gotta produce it. I gotta write it. Public Announcement and the ones that put that together. But why lie? Why you got people thinking that your girl, your homegirl, plugged you with R. Kelly? Why you won't tell the real story, Sparkle? Why haven't you told the real story that your husband, Earl, from Public Announcement, sent you to R. Kelly? And why won't you tell you left your husband? If you're going to tell it all.
And puppet stringing even some of those guys that are still hanging around him, and they clearly ain't getting a clue that they are being manipulated.
Right.
What us women, even grown women. So what do you think about those young girls too? You know what I mean? If those men, if you can be manipulated by a Robert Kelly, so to speak, then them little girls having a chance.
Sparkle, do you think, and it's just me being 100, your career took a hit when you stepped forward? I mean, and was there any way you could corral or reel that in? Was there nobody else in the industry that kind of like sided with you? Because I kind of feel like you was about to take off, you know, the Be Careful song. You had some other songs out there, and then all of a sudden it's like we didn't hear from you anymore. So was that Rob blackballing, or just because he stopped messing with you, did other people stop messing with you? Or did he have that much influence in the industry?
I believe so. And you can even take me out of it, and just some of the guys in the industry, like a Joe, or like a
I saw that interview with Joe
he
said
that,
Rob tried to stop his career.
Yeah, any male that he feels threatened by, he will try to stifle you. You know what I mean? So I'm a woman. Ain't nobody got my back. So yeah, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but like you were asking me, did anybody have my back? You know, there were, of course, some family members, like my middle brother, Benny, who's had my back from day one. He's got me. You know, the other siblings, they may be on the other side, maybe one other one. It's 6 of us, so it's 3 and 3. So, you know, one of my other brothers, he don't give a crap, because he like, yo, if they ain't caring, why should you care? But I do care.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
So I got to see this through. You asked me about it. Did anybody have my back? The Braxtons.
And I'm going to take these comments and I'm going to come back to who she says had her back. Cookie said, hell, some of these young ladies had more game than us cougars. Just saying. And that's facts. That's facts, Cookie. Now, see, we got to keep everything in its proper perspective. You know, this game has been around for centuries. And no matter how independent women become, no matter what rights women get, I do believe, in my opinion, I do believe that women should have rights. I do believe that women should be able to make their money. I do believe that women should have access to education. I believe that women should have access to the same things that men have access to. However, game is game. And just like men got game, women got game too. The late, great Tupac said, we got our name from a woman and our game from a woman. When we are young, at a very young age, women got game. Women are the ones, because as little boys, we don't know nothing. Right? And that's why women, younger women, like an older man. Because women, when you're young, it's your nature. And I keep saying this to women. It's your nature. This is how God created things. Take it up with God. Don't get mad at Shank Rock. God created man and woman. He created the woman to be a helpmeet. A woman, she has to have that man that can lead her. A young dude, the majority of young guys cannot lead you if y'all are around the same age. I'm just being honest with you. Because what women come with, a young dude can't do nothing for you. That's why all women, y'all can get mad at Shank Rock all y'all want to, but all women, when y'all were younger, y'all fantasized of an older man. Now, I will say that y'all probably haven't acted on y'all fantasies, but when y'all were 13, when y'all were 14, when y'all were 15, when y'all were 16, when y'all were 17, y'all fantasized about being with an older man. I'm just saying. So now, when we putting things in its proper perspective, men rule the world. Men control what goes on in the world, right? Even your Cardi B's, your Nicki Minaj, your Sexy Reds, even these female rappers that's up and coming, they still got to go through a man. They still got to play the game. They still got to play the game. A younger female is going to go along with the game because she knows I'm going to ride this until the wheels fall off. The older women get, been there, done that. The older women get, their body count starts to rise up. The older women get, the kitty cat start getting stretched. The older women get, the kitty cat start to get hundreds of thousands of miles on it. You know what I mean? So the kitty cat ain't tight no more the way us men like the kitty cat. You understand what I'm saying? The kitty cat don't get wet naturally. The kitty cat, just by the touching of a man, just by looking at a man, the kitty cat don't get wet no more. Right? So she starts to look at things from a different perspective. Damn. But them young girls, they know that kitty cat. They know what that kitty cat can do. And all women, even my virtuous women, even my independent women, even my God-fearing women, even my women on the right side of the tracks, all women know their secret weapon is their kitty cat. Because let's be honest, until we as men, the only thing that registers to us when we looking at y'all, and that's why y'all dress half naked. And for all those that don't know where that concept came from prostitutes. It came from prostitutes to dress half naked because it was a time when women wore dresses. It was a time when women wore skirts. It was a time when y'all funky ass women used to make Shank Rock mad as hell because y'all funky ass women used to tie jackets and sweaters and shirts around y'all asses so I couldn't see them. Yeah. It was a time when y'all used to make Shank Rock mad because y'all would wear baggy pants because y'all knew not to show off y'all goods. So when we look at y'all, I'm telling y'all what we looking at. And I know y'all got some husbands. Baby, don't believe Shank Rock. I know y'all got some boyfriends. I know y'all right now got some dudes that's trying to get the kitty cat that's going to tell you, don't you listen to that funky ass Shank Rock. He lying. But trust me. All men, when we look at y'all, we want the kitty cat. After we get the kitty cat, then we put y'all in a category. Okay, this wifey material. Okay, this is my side piece. She gonna be my side piece. Okay, she gonna be my friends with benefits. Men, that's just how we operate. So my demonstration about Sparkle, she left her husband for R. Kelly. Then she turned around and lied to everyone. Why lie? She left her husband. She thought she had what it took to keep R. Kelly. See, notice when she said when she was in the house and his wife came, then the wife was knocking on the door. He act like he ain't here. See, it was all fun and games for her. It was all fun and games. She was laughing, smiling, and I had some choice words for her. I ain't gonna get into that. She was playing the game. She knew exactly what was going on. I'm going to drop my link. I'm not going to hold y'all that much longer. If anybody want to join me on the panel, feel free to click the link and speak your piece. She left her husband for R. Kelly.
Oh. You know, the Braxtons, they, when I didn't have a sister, they brought me in and gave me that sisterhood, you know, and I love them for it. Tony was like, you know, Spark, come out here and I'll help you eat. Cause you know what I mean? I didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing the show with her every night. She gave me some shine on her show. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm grateful for them for that.
What is there anything happening right now as a result of the docu-series that you wish was not happening? Like I know people have mixed feelings about your participation in the things you've been saying. Like, have you been dealing with some things like, yo, I just need this to stop right now?
Not no, but yeah. I just want people to stop harassing these girls because this is a serious issue in our community. Just not with Robert. You know, it's some uncles, some daddies, some granddaddies who's doing the same thing. Pastors, yes, definitely. But you know, I just wish they would stop harassing, like stop deflecting and put the blame where it lies. It ain't on these girls. Yeah, they are victims. You know, I'm not a victim. You know?
Stop right there. I'm gonna let my guest Audra slide in. She said it. She ain't a victim. Slide in, Audra. Talk to me.
Hey, how you doing? I love your show. I've only
doing good,
seen
and
a few.
yourself?
I'm doing all right, thank you. I've only seen a few of your shows. I think ever since these articles of these interviews have come out, the press conference, a lot of people have been talking more, and so that's how I stumbled across your channel. And then like yesterday, Miss One Pap, she sent me a video. So I really like your show. I'm glued to
Thank
it,
you.
you know.
Thank you. I
But
appreciate you.
you're welcome. I wanted to say also that I've been following this case since like February of 2023.
Mm.
You remember what's his name, Boozy? He was on Facebook with the I Admit song. You know, he was bopping his head to it. I listened to it, and I was listening to his other song, Last Man Standing. So something told me just go on YouTube and see what is up. So I found Lady D's channel, uh, Infamous Sylvia, and Spit and Fire, which was the MIB. So she was using the MIB then. And then from there, I started learning about other people's channels, right? Like I learned about Dana J because Infamous Sly was doxing him. So it just kind of spread out, you know. Um, but I do want to point out that what she's saying she wants people to stop harassing these women, so on and so forth. But it used to be a time when we as women, we would get checked by our elders, especially when we were children coming up, especially when we hit puberty, right? Because as kids, as teens, we didn't know our power. As kids, 10 years old, we didn't know our powers. He hit me, he's doing this to me. We didn't know our power, right? And our parents, our grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, our elders would give us guidance on that, would tell us, hey, this is wrong. And now, as an adult, we should see now why they did that. But we have a lot of women that did not have that guidance. So when they're around a woman like me, I got to call them out on that. You know what I'm saying? Even if me and the girl are talking over the phone, I had a homegirl, her baby daddy had 4 kids already, like two from another one girl, and she decided, okay, she gonna have his child too. Well, one day he called her B over the phone. He called her
Mm.
B, and I said, okay, because she wanted me to take her side. So I'm like, okay, so what happened? You know, tell me what was the environment like? What's going on? She said, I was in the car driving. The baby was in the back seat crying, and I kept calling him. He wouldn't answer my calls, and I kept leaving him voicemails. He wouldn't answer me. So he finally answered and called me a B. I said, okay, so you told me that his other baby mama used to do things to his kids when she couldn't get a hold of him or when things weren't going her way, right? She's like, yeah. And your baby was in the back seat crying while you doing all this. Like, yeah, okay. So what do you think is going through his mind? You know?
Wow.
So I wanted to point that out, that we have to teach each other, because the guy ended up really loving her, right? She really lost the love of her life because it got to a point where they break up, get back together, but then he got older, she got older, and he really wanted to be there, like marry her and everything. She ended up would go out at night, like try to make him jealous, leave him home while she going out. Okay, so now you done lost the love of your life now. Okay, he's gone now. So these things these games that women play, if you don't have elders or friends in your life, people in your life to teach you things, and I'm sure y'all have it too with men, right? You
Mhm.
guys have to teach each other things, say things, or he gonna lose the one he loved. You know what I'm saying? He gonna lose a good woman.
Mhm.
And another thing I wanted to point out, that we cannot believe all women, because, and I want to ask the government, why is Tory Lanez still locked up? Because the only person that asked the police, am I going to jail? I can't have this on my record, is Megan Thee Stallion.
Mm.
The man who was the witness to it all, he said the woman with the gun got out of the driver's seat. I mean, out of the passenger side seat and went to the back seat, started fighting. She had the gun.
Mm.
She pulled the gun because the girl in the back seat, I guess, was kicking her, and she went and got the gun. So not only did Megan Thee Stallion not get shot, and I told everyone, I said, if you get shot in your feet, your foot, I said, do you know how many bones is in your foot? Just basic anatomy. People act like they're logic. They have no logic, like they're just dumb. You believe anything somebody says just because everybody's saying it must be true. Where there's smoke, there must be fire. No. See, there's some of us who are taught that you have to be able to read between the red tape. You have to be able to read between the lines, read between the lies. Okay? there's not always power in numbers. You're right. We have to be able to remove the wool from over our eyes, recognize the propaganda. Now, this girl was not only not shot, she stepped on glass, so she would not be able to go and perform and tour within 2 weeks later. Okay, because it was that soon for any of us that paid attention. Okay, and she's in this medical bed. Now these videos were hidden. Why is no one talking about this? This man should have been out immediately the next day. So now R. Kelly is pleading his case. We forgot about him getting jumped on in MCC Chicago. Wasn't he in the room sleep? Why was his door open? And another thing is, y'all need to realize too, one white lie can cost you your life, your child's life. What they say, the wages of sin is death. I'm telling you from experience, the wages of hate is death.
That's fact.
People only lied on me. They lied. But they lost children. Not just one person. Some lost their life. Because I didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. People plotting and scamming because of me. Because they jealous.
Wow.
I can't help. You weren't born a certain way. You don't look a certain way. I can't help that. I can't. Do you know me? Do you talk to me? Do you know my heart?
Wow.
Have you even had a conversation with me? So with R. Kelly, have anybody really had a conversation with him? Because what I see is a man with a good heart. You can look at his interviews. Look at what he says. He always has good things to say, uplifting things to say. But I can also see the pain in his eyes because he had to deal with this scarlet letter hanging over his head since 1994. Look at the marriage license. Where the signatures are supposed to be, it's in all caps in print. I'm sorry, all caps. And is it called print instead of signature? It's all print, capital letters. So we as older people, we understand that if you ever want to disguise your handwriting, they tell you write in all caps in print. So whoever put that there where the signature is supposed to be, not on the certificate, because the certificate does not have a signature. The marriage license is the thing that gets filed in the clerk of courts, and it never got filed. But this marriage license was allowed in as evidence in a court of law in the land of the free.
Right.
Falsified, fabricated evidence.
Audra, let me slide in. Let me let OG Patrice slide in for a second. Slide in, OG Patrice.
Hey, can you hear me? Okay, Shank.
Yes.
Okay. Is this young lady the Audrey that was getting real saucy with me in the chat?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you was this man. All I saw was OG, and I think he goes by OG something on YouTube, and he just came out like last week saying that he had a studio next to R. Kelly, and that he told R. Kelly to stop going down to McDonald's picking up young girls. Where's the proof of that? He loves McDonald's. A lot of men love McDonald's, especially I'm here in Florida. We have like the 2-story McDonald's. People used to go just all the way 50 miles to Orlando just to go to that McDonald's. It was nothing to do with kids. Black men like McDonald's.
Let her come in, Audra.
But
Come
I'm
on,
sorry,
OG.
OG. I thought you was that dude. Talking about he know R. Kelly, but that's a lot of people on here. They the mentee, they the sister, they the cousin. He calls them. Okay,
Right.
they was at the wedding. They put together the marriage. They produced the
I gotta let her slide in, Audra. Come on, OG Patrice.
No, I just wanted to say a little bit, and Shank, I'm gonna, if it's cool with you, I will get my ex on here who had the same manager as R. Kelly. Like we all go back way back to before R. Kelly got famous. I used to do talent shows with R. Kelly, myself, Casper from the Casper Slide, God rest his soul. We were all cool back in the day, right? Even though R. Kelly was a little younger than me. He actually went to grade school and middle school with my sister and brothers. He's younger. And just so you know, Audra, I am an elder. I'm 60 years old. I've been in the game for 30 years, right? So my experience with R. Kelly is different in that. And the reason why I say I wanted to bring my ex on here, because he is a producer in the industry that has some success with working with some well-known people. But him and R. Kelly shared the same manager before R. Kelly even became famous, right? That's how far back we go. So my experience with R. Kelly wasn't necessarily directly. It was due to some young ladies that I was managing at the time, and my ex was producing. They were a girl group. They actually opened up for Tamar Braxton when Tamar Braxton had her first single out, and she came to Chicago when her single was doing really well, and R. Kelly showed up there. And I hadn't seen R. Kelly in years, right? Because he became way more famous than any of us did, right? He went on to like superstardom. So it was just cool to see a guy from Chicago, South Side, you know what I'm saying, that come up, you know, in the game and to have this type of success, right? So my experience with him was after the whole situation with Sparkle. So like I said, I know Phil Davis personally. Phil Davis wrote for and with R. Kelly. He's with Public Announcement right now. He is a friend of mine. So, and I knew of the other guys. I don't know them, but I knew of them. So yes, I was hearing things through the grapevine, like the story about Sparkle was married to Earl, and she allegedly left Earl for R. Kelly. I heard some things like that, but I wasn't there. I can't speak on things that I wasn't there about. I can speak on the experience that I know. The girl group that I had and was managing, I lost them to R. Kelly camp people in his camp, because they became with the hopes of thinking R. Kelly was going to make them stars. And I'll tell that story one day, but I want my ex to be here because we're going to bring the receipts, because I don't have to lie, sweetie. And Shank, I know people in the industry. I ain't never lied about nothing. Shank follow me on my IG. He see the pictures with the celebrities I've worked with and know. So I don't have to lie. So I that's why I say I want to bring the receipts, because my ex can actually tell you even more about R. Kelly than I could. Because like I said, they were managed by the same woman. She was out of Chicago. Her name was Helen Wooten. She managed The Brat. She managed Lisa Ray. She managed my friend Christian Payton, who played Paul Williams on The Temptations. She managed Keith Sweat at one time. So and she even managed at one time Lil Wayne before he got with what's the name them. Like it goes way, way back them many years, right? So like I said, if you want, I will see if my ex will come on, and then we will tell that full story of our experience with how I lost my girl group to Kells and his camp people.
That's the story you got. Oh wow.
So, but as far as the Sparkle stuff, it was hearsay stuff, just like what you guys heard. I heard stuff too. I wasn't there, so I can't say yay or nay to stuff. I can say, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, she left Earl for Kells, and it was a bunch of mess going on with that. I also heard that that was Sparkle's niece in that video, and R. Kelly had already paid her and the family off. That's why the girl had said what she said on the stand and got up there and denied, because she was already paid off, and the family kept it that way. Why, I don't know, but that all of that was, you know, the talk and stuff like that was going around. But yeah, I can't really speak on a lot on the Sparkle thing. I never met her, never saw her in the studio or nothing like that with Kells Camp. One of my girls, and I will say this, one of my girls was underage that I was managing. One of them, it was 3 of them that I was managing during that time. One of them was underage. As soon as I knew they were over there in that camp, I called each one of their parents and I told them.
So you're just another Angie Stone, right? You just come out here and say stuff and hope
I'm
we
just
believe
another
you.
Andy Stone.
Yeah. She said she had a lot to say about Diddy, but she didn't say what she did with
I'm just
D'Angelo at
another Andy
17,
Stone.
had a baby with him at 19. What did you do? Who
What?
are you? What did you do? I mean, because you're
Okay.
coming out here saying
Anyway,
that
Shank,
R.
like I
Kelly took
said,
your
I'm not
girls
talking
and
to
they
you,
were
Audra. I'm talking
underage.
to Shank. I'm
No,
talking to
because you're
Shank.
getting called out.
I'm
Now you
you
gotta let
called out
her talk.
on what? What are
Go
you
ahead.
calling me out on? Girl, anyway, Shank, like I said, if you want to, I would have my ex come on here and we will tell that story. I do believe that it is the adults that is around underage people to be accountable for the lookout for underage people. When I was managing my girls, I was there all the time. But once they left me, I was not in their control, but I still picked up the phone. And even the two girls that was of age, I still even called their parents to let them know that they was hanging out over there. Right? That was all I could do as a secondary person. The rest was up to their parents. I did my part and then said, hey, this is where your girls is going now. They're over here. Right? That is all I could do. And I will say this. I never saw those girls again. And one of those girls actually followed Kels all the way to the ATL. And we will tell this story, Shane. When I get in touch with my ex, I will let you know. I will hit you up and you can interview him and I together.
I would love
Why
that.
everybody
OG.
from Chicago hate them?
Hold tight, Audra. Let me
I never
explain
said
something
I
to you.
hated Kels. Did you not hear me just give Kels his kudos?
Let,
Did you not
let me
hear me say I go way back with the man? Nobody is hating on Kels.
let
But
me just slide in.
let's keep it a bean. Kels got issues that he needs to deal with. He needs help, sweetie. And that's just facts. We
Let me
all
slide.
knew the history. We all knew the history from growing up in the neighborhood with Kels about people touching on him when he was a kid. We knew about allegedly what now has came out that his sister was doing to him all those years. The sister that he bought that house for out in Aurora, Illinois.
And you just
See
spread these rumors, you just repeat them.
what?
Let me slide in, OG Patrice. Audra,
Anyway,
OG Patrice is official. She's official. You know what I mean? She's stamp approved. She's official. I will allow you to disagree with her, though. You can disagree with her. I do allow everybody to disagree with each other, but we want to be respectful. So just
right,
let her
right,
finish.
because she's calling. What are you, an Angie Stone? What does that even mean? Like I haven't called you nothing but your name, young lady. Nothing but your name. And because I'm speaking and saying my opinion, and you may agree with it or agree to disagree with it, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not.
You're disrespecting him. He's not here to defend himself.
How
So
did I
you're a
disrespect Kel?
liar. You're spreading rumors.
How
You
did
have
I
no proof.
disrespect him? I didn't say any more rumors that people don't already know. Everything I just said, Shank knows about. Is that not
You
true,
just
Shank?
said you're not saying rumors that people don't already know. Rumors get spread. Look what they're doing with the Diddy trial. Look what
Okay,
they did
on
with
this note,
Michael
Shank,
Jackson.
I'm going to
Backo to
leave. I
backo.
will be in touch with you. I'm not going to argue with somebody that actually do not know Kels, okay? I'm not going to do that. That's what we're not going to do.
Finish, OG. I went on and dropped her down. Go ahead and finish, OG Patrice.
No, I just wanted because I want, listen, and you know, I agree with a lot of things that you're saying about the accountability of Sparkle and the shit that if she is, you know, if she is guilty of that shit, then yeah, she need to be held accountable for her part in that shit that she played, right? I'm not even taking that away from nobody. I'm not even taking it away from nobody that feels that Kel should be free or nothing. Like, I'm not that person. I came up here to talk about what I heard, which is some of the same thing everybody else heard through the grapevine about Sparkle. I never met Sparkle. Was never in the room with Sparkle, but I was around Kels. I did talent shows before he became famous. Right. And that's the only thing. And I'm telling my experience, what I know and got receipts for. That's why I said I'm not never mocking the man and his contribution. Listen, I'm an artist. I'm never going to mock that man's contribution, what he played and paid in this industry and the people he made successful and all of that. I will never take that away from him. But R. Kelly's issues goes back to him being a victim himself. And that's just real. And he never got help for that. Now, are we going to sit and coddle people that have issues that were victims that became victimizers? Or are we going to sit up here and play like Kells is innocent 100% completely? See, I'm not going to play that game. But I'm never going to pour salt on him as to say, you know, I want this man to rot in jail and all this and that. But I do think the brother needs professional help. And I hope while he's in there, he's getting more than just incarceration. He's really getting the psychological help that he needs. See, that's the conversation nobody wants to talk about. His sister was the first victim that messed him up. And she was the holier than thou in church, right? See, but that's the conversation people don't want to have. It was an old man in the neighborhood that allegedly, and I can say allegedly, it was talk in the neighborhood that was touching on R. Kelly. And he went to jail for it. And then he was going to go to court. And R. Kelly and the mother was going to testify, and the man would have got more time. But it's alleged that man paid R. Kelly's mother $5,000. Now, this is what I know that was taught in the neighborhood. I grew up in Inglewood on the south side of Chicago, sweetie. Miss Audra, the one that act like she know everything and she the boss of everything, R. Kelly. So, you know, like I said, whenever you ready, Shank, I will definitely reach out to my ex and we'll just tell that story. I'm not knocking that man. I'm not wishing no ill will on that man. I want that brother to get the help that he needs. That's all I want. But Shank, thank you. And I appreciate you having me up.
I appreciate you, OG Patrice, and I'm just waiting. I'm looking forward to that interview. Hit me up and let me know.
I definitely will. Thank you.
Okay.
So Shank, so OG. Hey, OG. Oh, she left?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Shank. Oh.
Let me wait a minute, Mel. Let me let J Rock slide. Let me let J Rock slide in. Come on, J Rock.
What's good, Shank? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good, and yourself, brother?
Man, I'm doing just fine. Hey, did you get that email I sent you last night?
I didn't get it. Let me look at my spam. No, I didn't get it, J Rock.
Yeah, I'll try to I'll try to resend it to you in case.
Wait a minute, let me see what this is. This might be it. I think this is it. The Supreme Court of the United States to petition for a writ.
I don't know if it's that. I don't think it was that one. It was sometime last night.
Yeah, June 23rd. It came from Rob. DAINTEZ.
Hold on, let me double check. I got the I should have already pulled this up just to be sure. It's
real long. It's real long, right?
It's kind of a paragraph, but it's got an attachment to it. And the attachment,
this one got a lot of pages.
No, mine is actually about 1 page. It's I sent it to you last night. It was around 10:39, might be about 11:40 your time. This
email got 248 pages.
Ooh, I didn't send one that big.
You ain't send that one. Let me put my email back in the private chat.
Okay. But what I did wanted to address right quick was when you talk about what Sparkle was talking about. The one thing Sparkle won't talk about, she won't mention either, was her collaboration with Jim Derogatis involving that sex tape. She won't. I guarantee you, she won't talk about it. And even Jim Derogatis, on 2 separate occasions, said 2 different things. He said that when he got the tape that was sent to him by mail, and it was told to play it. But then he turns around and says that he got in contact with Sparkle, and Sparkle said she got the tape and got with him, and they viewed the tape. So that was 2 different stories from supposedly the same source. One of them tried to say, well, I got it from her. And then he said, well, I got it blindly in the mail. And in the interviews that she's been on, you never heard her mention anything about Jim Derogatis and the collaboration that they had involving that tape. And speaking of that tape, everybody want to keep throwing that tape on R. Kelly all the time. My question is this: if you really think about it, have you ever thought about why? Because the government always said that the tape was made between 1998 and 2000. Have you ever wondered why the government never gave you the exact date on when that tape was made?
Right.
Because from what I understand, the stills that I saw, there was a timestamp that was May 14th of 1999. Now, why is that significant? Well, that's significant because May of 1999, 6 months prior, R. Kelly's 4th album dropped. The Double R album dropped November of 1998. And with that album, he had about four videos. He had Home Alone, I'm Your Angel, When a Woman's Fed Up, and If I Could Turn Back the Hands of Time. The sex tape, however, had 3 different hairstyles on the same tape. You got a mini fro, a blowout, and a half fro. R. Kelly was bald-headed on every video. So unless R. Kelly got Miracle Grow growing out of his scalp or his head is a damn chia pet, there was no way that would have been him on that tape. Because you're not going to be completely bald on every video and your hair going to grow out that quick.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why I totally believe that they never brought that up. And going back to the information I told you about yesterday, the government, the prosecution in Chicago and New York, they never mentioned the fact about that incident that happened when he was on tour in Louisiana. Because if that would have happened, they would have brought that up as part of RICO against him. Why did they leave that out? And the reason why I say they left it out, because if they were to bring this up, it kills the Aaliyah narrative, which means your underage girl narrative is now shot. Because he didn't go back to Chicago to marry a minor. He went back to address a completely different legal issue altogether. And also ask yourself this question: why didn't Surviving R. Kelly bring that up?
Right.
Surviving R. Kelly never brought that incident that happened in Louisiana.
Right.
Jim Derogatis, who's supposed to be all authority on all things R. Kelly, never talked about it in any interview that he's done, not one time.
J-Rock, what was the date?
The dates on what? The incident in Louisiana?
Yeah. If you're comparing it to this wedding, you need to produce the date so we can all research it.
That would have happened in 94.
We can look at the marriage license at that date, but what date are you talking about?
That would have happened around Labor Day weekend, 1994. Now, if you try to Google the information and try to find it, you're not going to see it. Not going to see it on because they actually.
What's the date of the marriage?
August 31st, 1994. Now, here's the funny part. Like I said, a friend of mine last week, she went on Google, and guess what? They pulled up. It came up saying that R. Kelly had a concert in Louisiana, July 22nd, 1994. That information was not there in Google before. So somebody just recently put that information there. So they literally wanted to make sure that that information was scrubbed. And here's the funny part. If you got a celebrity of R. Kelly's caliber in your town in Lafayette, Louisiana, there was no information about that incident, even by the local press. The news media, radio, print, nothing. It's like they all completely just wiped that out altogether.
J-Rock, let me let my other guests come in and I'm gonna come back to you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that super sticker.
I'm gonna drop down, man. But I appreciate, man, for everything you continue to do. I'm still gonna keep checking in from time to time with you.
Okay, appreciate you, J-Rock. Appreciate that super sticker, Miss Parker. Slide in, Mel.
Salute Shank and your other guest panel. I forgot what. So when we were talking, when we were speaking about Sparkle, in each interview that she does, I still come up with the same conclusion. And to make an album, you have to go to the studio, right? And so studio costs time. That's why all your rappers they always had that little side street hustle because they had to go to the studio. You know what I mean? And that even came up in the Young Thug trial. You know, hustling. I forgot which one it was, hustling. But they were taking all their money to the studio. They were making music, right? Sparkle didn't have no money to make no. She didn't have no studio time. Remember, she said she had 9 to 5. So it's believable that she would leave her husband for R. Kelly because she needed free studio time. She wanted to make an album, right? Albums cost money. So you either pay for your studio time up front, on the front end or the back end. Is that right? I'm not sure. I'm not a music person. But you're either going to pay on the front end or the back end, right? Now, a producer of R. Kelly's status, since he was already established, he could probably let you do it on the back end, you know? But for the most part, most producers, when you go there to that studio, you got to bring them some kind of deposit, some kind of money or something. And working a 9 to 5 ain't gonna really pay for studio time unless you consistently saving checks, you know. So to me, I think that she was just trying to find her way in, and if she kind of positioned herself as R. Kelly woman, then the studio time would be free. Let's go back to the same thing she was talking about. You either, as a woman, you either trying to slide because you're trying to get your rent paid, your light bill paid, you need some grocery money, you need your car note, something. You sliding for a reason. If you're sliding like that, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess in her interview, she leaves so much out because she don't want to make it appear like she was sliding because she had no money for no studio time. And maybe that's why R. Kelly was like, when she came on board, like, hey, don't say nothing to nobody. But she decided that she wanted to be the one, right? To me, it was kind of like intimidation, if you ask me. But, when you got snakes on your plane, you need to know, let me keep everybody separated so I can, figure things out. So that would be that. And I think the harder part about a lot of this, especially all this stuff that happened back in the 90s and all that, I always say, I'm a woman of a certain age. Back in the day, like when we were like 15, 16, we were experiencing sex. And most of our boyfriends was probably 3 years older. Some people older. So you were right when you say, you don't see a boy of your age. You see guys that are older, because boys your age is immature. They want to run around and pull your hair and all that little silly stuff. So you always looked at older boys. That's just how it was. It's just hard to make it such a big thing. They say, okay, well, the girls he was running around, they were 16. But at the end of the day, 16, nobody's really looking at that, compared to the big deal that's being made about it today. And it's being made by the generation after the millennials. I don't know who they are, just making a big deal, but it doesn't matter. Even those people have had sex with somebody that was older. It's kind of like human nature. You feel me? So, and to make a big deal out of it now, and to say, okay, well, you did this way back in 1994. We're gonna put you in prison for it today. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, a whole bunch of women, hey, well, let's just, load up and go down and see, can we get some lawsuits or some people arrested? But why are we doing that? Because, that's just free will, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, I personally do have a little cousin that 15, that married a grown man. Her grandmama signed off and she turned 16. She got married, and he was probably 45 or something like that. But her grandmother signed off and they got married. So sometimes I think what we fail to realize is that these celebrities, they're regular people that have regular lives, have lived regular lives. That's just their job. And they just make a lot of money at their job. You know what I mean? What about the average lawyer that may be wealthy, but you can't say, oh my God, she's a lawyer. She probably waited till she got married. She probably never had a young love, a boyfriend that was, oh, you feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
So,
Appreciate that super chat, Tanya. Appreciate that super chat, Tanya.
so the way thing is all blown out of proportion to make it, um, criminal, because I told you, I went and looked up the word petty, you know what I mean? And the age limit for that person is 13 or younger, not 15, not 16, not 17, 18, 19, like a 19-year-old guy. Most younger guys like older women. Trust me, they do. I can
That's
attest for that. So a 19-year-old guy and he kicking it with a woman that's 27, that's not a crime. 'Cause that's a grown man, right?
right. Because let me just slide in real quick. Because, like I said, let's say a 14, 15-year-old girl. If she's dealing with a 14 or 15-year-old boy, she got to worry about the 14, 15-year-old boy sneaking them in his house. She got to worry about his immaturity as far as he don't got a car, he don't got no money. Not only that, when
He going
they
and telling all his friends.
right, he going to telling all his friends, and not only that, when it comes to the actual pleasing, a 15-year-old boy, he gonna be probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the most. He ain't doing no foreplay. He ain't doing none of that type stuff that stimulates a female before the actual intercourse even take place. I got the email, J Rock. I got your email, J Rock. So let's be honest. Now she sees this older guy. He got it going on. He got cars. He driving. She ain't got to worry about walking over to the house. She ain't got to worry about taking the bus over to the house. He gonna pull up in his car. He might gotta meet her around the corner. You get, but it's a lot that comes along with a younger female dating an older man. Her family, like you said, the girl was 15, the grandmother or grandfather signed off for her to marry the older man because this has been traditional for as many years as any of us can remember. A woman, a female. See, it's only in black culture. It's only in black culture for a woman to be independent. It's only in black culture for a woman not to need a man. Only in black culture. Now, but years ago when we was coming up, 60s, 70s, 80s, oh, women needed a man. Women needed a man. So you got these women, like I said, you got these young girls. They're starting to experience puberty, I believe. they joints starting to twitch. You know, the kitty cat starting to get wet. It's like a dog in heat. She
At
wants,
15.
yeah.
15.
So right. So so what's she gonna do? Her shit need to get itched. She tired of itching it herself. She tired of scratching her thing herself. She fantasizing. This is what I said about younger females fantasizing to be with older men. That's a fantasy that all girls go through. If I get with Shank Rock, he's 27 years old. Shank Rock got this. Shank Rock got that. If I get with homeboy from around the way, he's still living with his mom. You know, I mean, and let's just be honest. It takes a lot for a woman to experience an orgasm. It takes a lot to stimulate a female. And a boy 15, 16 years old, he just can't do it. A lot of females are into oral sex. You ain't getting no 15, 16-year-old boy doing no goddamn oral sex. He thinks that is something that's only done in porno flicks. When I was 15, 16 years old, me eating what? Me putting my mouth where? Hell to the no. So it's beneficial is what I'm trying to get to. It's beneficial for a younger girl to be with an older man. Any last words, Audra, before we get out of here? You got any last words, Audra?
Yeah, I think everybody's experience is a little different. Because everybody wasn't having sex in their teens, early teens. Also with Aaliyah and this tape, I just want everybody to look at the information we have, look at the facts, like how you're breaking down Sparkle. But I also want you to look at the tape. Look at it several times because, like J Rock said, there are 3 different sex scenes on that tape, 3 different hairstyles. The man with her is bald headed. And if you look at the tape itself, it looked like it occurred in 1996, not 1998, like Sparkle wants to say her niece is 14. And look at the sex styles. 2 men pull out. R. Kelly don't have any baby mamas. He has a wife that they had kids after marriage. But Levi for Kelly has kids out of wedlock. Carrie Kelly has kids out of wedlock. Were they the body double in that video? There's a Bump and Grind live video, the one where Drea Kelly is on stage. Demetrius Smith told you that R. Kelly was going with his dancers. If you look at his dancers, they're all voluptuous women, breasts, booty. They look nothing like Aaliyah. And look at Drea Kelly. Look what she did on that stage. So you could just imagine what she did in the bedroom. R. Kelly took her on tour in New York when they had the Best of Both Worlds tour. He took his wife and his children with him on tour. They were stuck together like glue. If these women were all that everyone said that they are, if Sparkle was all that she says she is, then where were they? Because if you look at the dates, time is very important. Dates are very important. Aaliyah, if they say he married this girl in 1994, go back and look at the video that occurred after 1994 where they're in that diner. I was once a teenage girl that had crushes on older men. Okay? Look at Aaliyah in that video. She probably had a crush on him. Listen to her song lyrics. If your girl only knew. Listen. Right? Did she have a crush on him? Did she write in her diary? Did Barry Hankerson and Demetrius Smith take it so far? Who owned Vibe magazine when that marriage license was posted? We have to look at the details. And R. Kelly never gave me any idea that he had ever been with Aaliyah sexually at all. 1994, he was courting his wife and going with some of the dancers, but he married his wife in 1996. They had their first child in 1998, second child 2000. This is intentional. There are men out here that have 8 different baby mamas. There are women out here that have 9 different baby daddies, never been married. So in our generation, we have a group of us, a very small slim of us that believe in marriage, having our kids in wedlock. R. Kelly is one of those men. And we are the ones that protect the youth. We protect them. R. Kelly is one of those type of men. So for these narratives, he needs help, he's sick, he's this, he's that. Where is your proof? The evidence, the proof that is out here says that he is none of those things y'all are talking about. But you don't want to talk about Sparkle and break her down. You don't want to talk about Demetrius Smith and break him down about that marriage license. You don't want to contest the government and ask them, well, why did Angela Clary's mom call the feds first? Why she didn't call 911 if she thought R. Kelly was in the hotel room with her 17-year-old daughter, but she was texting R. Kelly, sexting him, pretending to be her daughter? Who planned? Why did this happen in 2015 when R. Kelly wants to go and get his masters, his copyrights, his catalog? It's been a problem ever since, just like it was a problem in 1996 when R. Kelly chose Drea Kelly over Sparkle, as if Sparkle ever had a chance with her tight mouth. But that's just a little bit. I hope you, Shank Rock, do your own research, but just know that people like me are listening. So when y'all come out here and y'all say little things and think, okay, everybody is on that accord. No, we peep game. We understand when somebody throwing shots.
And that's what this platform is about. Open opinions. Agree to disagree. I don't want nobody to feel like they can't disagree with what's being said. No. Bring your opinion. Just respect the other guests. That's all I ask. Now, tomorrow, we're going to chop it up about that video. So, if it's any...
I hope everybody go watch it, please.
If it's any information that y'all need to get me, send it to my DM on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Shank Rock. And anything that y'all got to send me for that video, send me. Tomorrow, we chopping it up about that video. We going to find out.
In your opinion. Look at the time, look at the year that she said it was made. Sparkle said it was made in 1998 because she could tell by a song. Okay, but the original video didn't have that song on it. Okay, but anyways, if you look at the video, look at the size of the men. Okay, the one with Sparkle was built. R. Kelly didn't even have muscles in 1998. In Sparkle's video, be careful. He had to have a body double in that video. The man on this sex tape, the portion with Rashonda, was built. He had muscles. That was like a Carrie Kelly or a Levi for Kelly. That was somebody else. It was not R. Kelly. So look at that. So with that marriage license, that was another smear campaign. They put it in Vibe magazine. Who owned Vibe magazine? That was Quincy Jones in 1994. Who was he friends with? Barry Hankerson. So y'all, when y'all do your research, look deep. Even research who owned the place in New York where they did the airing of the first Surviving R. Kelly. Who are all these people that came in R. Kelly's life in 2018? Infamous Sylvia tampered with Demetrius Smith in 2018, but why doesn't Dana J talk about it? He introduced her to R. Kelly. Nobody ain't talking about it. So I thank you, Shank Rock, for talking about this. You know, please know that as women, we watch these things that you guys say. I don't like men that hate on other men. I don't like that. And so far I don't get that from you, but I've gotten it from all these other channels, and it's not a good look for us as a people, you know, because we're all made different, we all look different, we're all built different. But at the end of the day, you can pull the same women that R. Kelly can pull. But you gotta act like it. Y'all gotta act like it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm gonna tell you, when I said that we as women, all of us didn't have sex at those ages, we may have had a crush on you, but we don't know what sex is like. Okay, a woman doesn't know what oral sex. She don't know what an orgasm is. It's gonna take somebody who teaches her, shows her. She don't know how to make herself. Maybe some people do. Maybe they
And
maybe they did it. I don't know.
right,
Maybe
and
boys
that's
did, but not
right.
women.
That's what I was saying as far as
Mhm.
fantasizing. All girls.
Mhm.
Not saying that all
It
girls
it comes from
perform
the
the
heart.
act. Yeah,
We
but
be
they fantasize.
fantasizing from the heart. That's why you said.
Right,
That's why when we're coming up, our parents, our elders are telling us, you know, we're supposed to get married, right? They, you know,
right,
if you walk out
right,
there barefoot, your feet gonna be big. Your husband, you ain't gonna get no husband. We
right.
were always taught, we geared in the way of marriage, right?
Bingo.
So
Bingo.
a woman is not going to have a mindset to sleep around. These type of women come from project environments, project mindset. Those are not the type of women, you know, that
Not all,
you guys want to
not,
marry. And
not,
those are the type of women that R. Kelly came across. Let's be
not,
honest.
not all, Audra. I didn't had
No, I'm
some.
not saying they from the projects like that, like everybody
Right,
from the project. I'm saying the mentality, like you having kids out of wedlock. You don't need a man. You living out the system. You're gonna scam to get ahead. That's the kind of project mentality I'm talking about. I'm not saying that people from the projects is like that. I'm saying that you have, you know, a mindset that you come from. And women like Sparkle, they just go out and say anything they want unchecked, right? They came from a household that allowed that. See, I came from a household where I got checked. So I
right.
can't just say anything about anybody. Even with the P. Diddy case, I'm to the point where I'm like, well, do we even know that he was even in the room at these so-called free calls? He didn't
Right,
engage. He
right,
didn't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you charge him with that? You could charge him with pornography, watching,
right,
paying to watch. But see, if they, you know, I'm just that way. You know, I
right.
don't want to
I,
accuse somebody of something. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. No, you good. But make sure y'all pull back up
Hmm.
tomorrow, because we're going to go over that tape. I appreciate you for pulling up, Audra, here. Salute everybody. I'll leave the chat running. Y'all can hang around, and I'll see everybody back tomorrow. So
You know, I wasn't a part of that whole shenanigans that he was doing with them. But thankfully, you know, my niece was, and I'm speaking for her. And I tell her, even when we came back together as a unit, as a family, I used to tell her, look, whether you want me to or not, I am going to protect you, period.
How does your niece carry on today with all of this attention on her? I'm sure she knows that people have seen the documentary. All of these years the tape has been out. How is she dealing with all of this?
You know, right now I don't know, but she's beautiful. She's a beautiful girl on the outside. But you know, like I've been saying, like I know she is screaming and yelling on the inside, and I don't know that she's gotten the help that I
Right.
believe that she needs, or any of these girls. I don't know.
And then I want to ask you, I know in the court of law, I think your brother-in-law testified and said it wasn't her on
My
the
brother,
your
my
brother.
oldest brother, yeah.
So she's your niece by your sister's child or your sister's child? I guess in a private conversation, did anyone ever talk to you and directly say, like, that was her and we made this decision for whatever reason?
They don't have to tell me that was her.
You
I
know,
know 1,000,000%.
So was there ever a private conversation amongst the family about what happened? I know in the court of law they didn't admit to it, but did y'all ever have a family conversation and them admitting to what happened?
See, that's the thing. No, we never had a conversation. They've not been wanting to have that dialogue with
With
me
you, right?
because
They might
I'm
have had a
going to,
conversation.
yeah,
You went into it.
I'm gonna go in. So no, we've not had that, and I wish we had a, but and even with my niece being an adult now,
Right.
I haven't had that conversation with her because I still handle her with kid gloves because I know this issue is probably gnawing and eating her.
Right.